Sports betting brother, and hey, bring it up, and thanks for stopping by. My name is Boyd, and I'm a data analyst with OddsJam.com, where we teach you how to bet like a sharp using all the tools at OddsJam. And today we're talking about single game parlays. And in the past, single game parlays have not been welcomed or wanted or desired by the sports books, but they've come to find out that the sports betting population enjoys them, likes them, and so they've adapted to it and offering them. And we're going to show you how to place a single game parlay. And I'm also going to give you a couple of extra tips to help increase your edge while doing so. So let's get after it. All right, sports bettor. So one of the first things you're going to do when you go to place a single game parlay, I highly recommend you get over to OddsJam and oddsjam.com to help yourself start to look for these single game parlays. Now, real quick history about single game parlays. They're really actually available at all the different sports books, and they still to this day aren't available at all of them. But certainly FanDuel has stepped out, been the first one to offer them, and their format has been very, very good. Their pricing and transparency has been very, very good. So we're going to show you an example of how to use a single game parlay at FanDuel a little bit later on. You might also hear these termed as one game parlays or a single game, different types of terminology for those. So you can check that out to the different sports books. They might have different names for this exact same thing. So check that out too. I want to let you know you also have different ways to calculate odds if a particular leg of the bet is voided. So we'll get into that here in a second. But first things first, you want to stop over to OddsJam. And I actually cruised over a little earlier and found a game. I want to basically reiterate, you're going to follow a narrative. A single game parlay is when you place multiple legs of a bet in and of the same game. So, for example, if you have the narrative that, in this particular case, say the Seahawks are going to do okay, but you're looking at the OddsJam perfect line here at -131 for the Cardinals, but you're seeing some value here over at FanDuel, +124, looking at maybe Seattle on the money line, and then even, of course, possibly on the point spread, taking the Seattle +2.5. Now, that's something you want to maybe start your leg with, your first leg, getting some support and getting some good feelings on some of the mainline areas of the wager itself. If you think it's going to be a high-scoring game and you want to target some quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, things like that a little bit later in your bet with other legs of the bet, that's certainly smart to do. But if you can sort of get an edge by using this right out of the gate, that if you're getting some good vibes on the positive EV of say the money line, the point spread, or the total, that's a good place to start. That's first steps first in your multiple leg of a parlay. So I want to reiterate too that the same game parlays can really be from 1 to 15 legs. So you could have, basically up to 15. The higher they go, obviously the more valuable you're going to have to make your funds, but of course it's going to be more risky and more challenging because you have more bets to link together, and it's going to be more challenging. So you certainly can go from just a two-team or a two-leg parlay up to a 15. And here's where you're going to find a lot of your other value is maybe in the player props. And so again, following a narrative that you think it's going to be a high-scoring game, low-scoring game, things like that, you might be able to use this tool. You will be able to use the tool to identify some edges in the different markets, so you can piece this together and put the legs together, which I'll show you how to do next. Okay, guys, here we go. Jumped over to FanDuel and logged in for you. I want to point out they do have a lot of promos going on, so you can actually use some of your funds in a promo to use these same game parlays. And you can also do, of course, same game parlays in a lot of different sports. You can see here you got the SGP logo here. Certainly you can put that into some MLB action as we're currently in the playoff phase with MLB. As mentioned earlier, we checked out the NFL game that we want to take a look at. And so we'll pull up the NFL slate of games. And of course, here you can see the SGP logo. And we're going to scroll on down to the Seahawks-Cardinals game where we noticed some value. Maybe we're going to take a look at this Seahawks +2.5 or possibly the money line narrative that we're going to follow. Again, as your edge using OddsJam to find a couple of points to boost off of this to build your legs. And you're going to put, when I say legs, means you're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different parts to this parlay. And so you can decide how many legs of the parlay or how many parts and pieces of it you want to do. Now, again, if you use FanDuel and you happen to have a leg that's voided, they take that leg out, they recalculate the odds of that wager and let you go from there. Again, some other books do not do that. So again, let's start off here by seeing the Cardinals Seahawks game we mentioned. And let's say we want to add this Seahawks +2.5. You can scroll through here and see some other alternative totals. Maybe again you think it's going to be a higher scoring type of game. You can add some of these in here. You can hit this button to show more options and more choices. You can scroll down, and maybe you found part of a total or over or under on this coinciding, and let's say you want to put in the over 49.5. So now you have 2 legs of this. Okay. Let's see if I duplicated something here. Nope, got the 2 legs here with the Seahawks plus 2.5, and then the over 4.5. And let's say you want to, add some player props to this, you certainly can do that. And this is where you're going to have, again, more tools at OddsJam to use by incorporating. Maybe you have a few player props that you want to incorporate as far as performance. If you think it's going to be a higher scoring game and you want to use that quarterback, you would go into all the different options and choices you can see here in the SGP tabs. So again, this is how and where you would place these bets, how many legs you would add to it, and you can certainly remove selections if you decide you want to take one out. That's certainly possible, but this is how you would do it. This is how you put these together, and I hope this makes sense and hope you enjoyed it. Sports betting brother, and hopefully you enjoyed the single game parlay summary today as I showed you some ways to gain edges on these parlays, and they're a lot of fun because you don't have to wait a long time for other games to finish and find out the results of those other legs of a parlay. You can do it all under one game and enjoy that with relatively small amounts of money for a big payout. So they are a lot of fun, and I want to remind you, if you haven't signed up already for OddsJam to use these tools to your advantage, you can do so below. We have a free link or a link below to get a free membership started up to try it out and experiment and get used to it, because it is a way to very, very substantially mathematically make money. Hope you enjoyed it,